What up, everybody? It's your favorite toy repair and review guy, Tron B. Burgundy, up in the house. Today we're going to be taking a look at, we're going to be doing a repair slash swaparoo on the 1981 Bandai Matchbox diecast Voltron. That's a mouthful. This guy was featured in the on the back of the box for the 12-inch diecast Voltron from Matchbox, alongside of the Dare Rugger and a few others. But this is the 6-inch version, as you can see, and basically I was trying to fix this one by adding a wing to it, and did the typical thing and pinched the legs a little too tight, and this happened. So I was one step away from having a nice complete one of these, and broke the leg off, which isn't actually a common problem. So which actually is a common problem. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Going to talk about what parts you can swap, which parts you can take apart, how this differs a little bit from the 12-inch version. So let's get into it. So basically, I've accumulated a whole bunch of other parts. Was going to try to just use them to fix this guy, but due to a couple of technical difficulties and the amount of spare parts that I was able to acquire from different toy shows and from a few friends, I pretty much figured out that I've got enough to make another complete one that doesn't have a broken hip socket. So that's what I'm going to do. So first and foremost, as you can see, this one on the right, I'm short a wing. And my original intentions were to take the wing out of this guy, one of the wings out of this guy, and add it to the back plate on this, because I have an extra back plate. But I realized, why would I do that if this one's already got 2 wings in the back plate? So I'm going to keep this around just because you're going to want to see how to add it, get it in and out. We'll come back to that. So for right now, basically this is what happened. So the metal, as you can see on these guys, is it's just a little metal piece that pokes out there, and if you pinch it, and as you can see, I mean, it's right up on the bottom there. So what I was doing with this guy is, if you pinch the leg even the slightest amount, it will snap off inside of there. So the problem I'm having right now is, this is a metal piece snapped off inside of here that is screwed in, and you can't get this screw out without having something to hold this. I tried pliers, I tried a few other things. It's basically, it breaks off so close that you don't have anything to grab against. I tried using my fingers, tried using pliers. It's pretty tough. So at some point, I'm going to have to figure out how to fasten this side so that I can turn the screw and get that out of there. Until that point in time, this is pretty much useless. Unless, and I'll get back to that. So yeah, I'm still working on a way to possibly figure out how to, using maybe a screw and a nut for these that break off, about how you could actually take a longer screw, maybe run it through and get a really tiny nut on the back side of here. This would help a lot of people, because this happens a lot. This is a common problem, and you wouldn't have to hunt down another Voltron to figure out how to find a chest piece. And that's the other thing too. The posts are hooked to the front piece that has all the cool emblems, and it's pretty much the centerpiece of Voltron. So just finding this piece is tough, but then finding this piece where it's not all wore off, and even on this one, the emblem's a little crooked in there, which is going to bother me, but it's alright, and there's a little bit of chrome worn on top of it, but for the most part, the rest of the paint's good. So if you could just, I can figure out a way to make it so that you don't have to get rid of this or get a new one. The downside to these things is that, aside from the parts that are easily taken apart and unscrewed, all the rest of the stuff, these little plastic pieces and the chrome piece and this, they're all kind of fused in there. I've tried breaking it away, and I know for a fact that it will come off, because this guy is missing the chrome ear extension on his, and as you can see, there's a hole there. So you can get it off. I'm not gonna say, I mean, you want to take a flathead and just chip away at it, you can get it off, but that's a lot of work. So what we're gonna do right now, is first take a look, and I'm gonna move him to the side for a second so we can have a clear working area here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm first and foremost going to go ahead and complete this guy. And you can see all the stuff and all the different parts that it takes to put them together. Possibly, you know, this is a put together instructional video, especially maybe if you bought one, you know, at a show, or that wasn't complete and you got to take a few parts to make another one. This will be helpful. So first and foremost, I can't remember if this was the one. Yeah, so this little riveted area here. So what I have an extra one of these, and I was thinking like, oh well, I'll just, you know, for this one that's stuck for the time being, I'll just switch it out. Well, it's got to be the same one, because obviously it's the left leg, so these are going to be on the inside. See, you can, so taking these, and actually what I did was this guy was missing the head, and this head, as you can see, it, for whatever reason, it slides in, slides out. All that's holding it in there is one little peg on the back of the head. To get that in there, basically, and the two come apart a little differently. So like this guy, to get it apart, obviously this red piece has got to come off. So I looked and was like, okay, well I can see there's a little slot up there. So with a little bit of pinching, so I pinched both sides in, you can kind of comes right off. So you can see it's got the two little pinching sides in there. And then basically what you're going to want to do, and I'll just demo it real quick just to show you, because I think I actually left the screws loose. Yeah, I did, because I knew I was going to want to show you. So you basically got two screws on the inside of the leg. And the problem here is you really don't want to take, I mean, if you, I mean, some people don't care what the sticker on the bottom looks like. I'd rather keep it on there because it makes it look cooler. So basically, from this point on, you can now separate them, but you've got a sticker on the bottom that goes across both sides. So what you can do is you can just split it wide enough to open it up, and as you can see, this side, this does come apart. You've got a little post, and sometimes it'll be stuck and you got to really kind of wiggle it and pull it off, and then it, you know, it all just separates. So this one's pretty easy, and then I'm not going to pull it out, but the head is, you can see, so there's just a peg on the top. There's a little slot that goes in there, and it's got a little peg on the top, and all it is catching. And I don't even know why these pull out. Maybe it's still like for help for balance or something. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stick this back in there. I just wanted to give you a quick glimpse into how that comes apart. Ready? Got that there. So go ahead and put these. And the two legs, obviously because of the design, do come apart a little differently. And obviously this screw, the tighter you tighten it, is going to make it, you know, if you tighten it too tight, the leg's going to have a hard time bending. But if you don't want it to bend and you want it to stand straight up, then tighten it away. So as you can see, this is the one that kinks that. So tighten it, and then this little guy. Maybe that's why it does that, so you can get this in there. Who knows? Just waiting for the easiness to almost. Just because I'm doing this on camera, it's yeah, I'm probably gonna knock into my camera stand a few times with this one, because a few of these tasks take a little bit of take a little bit of force. Well, let's see. There we go. There we go. A little finagling, and we're back. Alrighty, let me slide that back in there. So there's the leg, left leg. Yellow leg, you don't actually have a little brace that's going to come off. This one, when you open up the two screws, these two pieces are completely separate, and I'm pretty sure this chrome piece is just hooked to one side. So when you open this one up, it just completely separates, so you don't have to worry about that. Like, I was thinking, like, how is this little black piece? So this doesn't even have to come off. So literally, on the yellow leg, you just undo the screws and you can pull it apart. I'm not gonna do it. You just saw how the other one worked. So there's the two legs. These guys, you don't really got to take them apart. It's kind of funny. The heads are actually separate pieces, but I haven't really figured out what that's about. Maybe it's just for looks. You get a little plastic guy here that slides in, and how this works is, as you can see in the back of here, there's just a little deeper well on the bottom side. So that's how you know which side clips, and it just sits in there like that. And it spins around, and it's just, you know, it's like a little octagon, and that just clips on there. And then the head, obviously, just has a little slot, and it just slides right in there, and then when you put the back on, locks it in. So what I was gonna do was, as you can see here, so the difference to this version versus the 12-inch bigger die-cast version is the bigger die-cast version has a spring and a screw on the inside. So you cannot, even if you got a new one, you have to open that up because it's got a spring on the inside of the body and a screw, and you know, you can't just pop it in there. But because of that, the wings stay more taut, and because they have a spring on the inside of them and they're screwed in. I kind of wish this had something like this, because this, as you can see, is just a little plastic pop-in. So for getting it out, you know, what I had to do when I was getting this out of the other one that was broke, it sticks through here. You kind of had to take some tweezers or some pliers, and you just kind of had to pinch the head while pulling it out. It's not a big lip, so you can see it. It comes out pretty easy. It does kind of scratch the top up a little bit, so I'm not going to do it in this video. You'll get it. So yeah, so I think I'm just going to keep this wing for when I figure out how to fix the other one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and I do want to note, I was just looking, and I don't know, I might regret this later, or I might switch them back, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to switch it out. I told you I was going to knock into it. So the guy that I broke says, look at that, I'm looking at it, not paying attention to the camera. The guy that I broke has Bandai just in like a standard typeface, 1981 on there, made in Taiwan. This one has the actual like Bandai logo, made in Taiwan, no date. Everything looks pretty similar, so I'm just guessing that it was just a later version. Maybe, you know, they fixed the peg breaking problem, and this is the earlier version with the peg breaking, and the reason why this one doesn't have a broken peg is because they made it with better metal. Who knows? What I'm going to do here is kind of move these guys off camera, and I've already loosened the screws on a bunch of this stuff, so you're not going to have to sit here and watch me struggle. Now, the thing is with this guy, the screws, I don't know, maybe he hadn't been opened up since the 80s, but they were really tight, and I actually broke off the head of a cheaper screwdriver, Phillips head, that I had messing with it. So don't use cheap Phillips head, and when you do it, you got to just apply a lot of direct pressure and just turn really slow until you feel it, you know, till you feel it make a move. For anybody wondering, I have to keep reminding myself of this. The wings, you don't need a left or a right. So some people list them as left and right wings. Because you can flip them either direction and spin them. You can take you can take either wing and flip it around. So like you can look here and see, oh, okay, the straight part's on the inside, but it's not on that one. Well, let me just do that. And then the straight part's on the inside. The only difference is on one of the back of the wings, it says Bandai on there. So if you're really particular about that, I guess maybe there is a left and right wing, but who cares? They both work. Make sure I got these completely loose. Yeah, I was gonna take the one wing out and put it in the back of the other one, but I was just like, well, this one's already got both wings in there, so I don't want to do that. Alright, so be careful. I'm just gonna shimmy this apart. And there goes the head, and the wings, and the arms. I'm just gonna take this apart for a minute. Set it over there. So I needed to do this also because when I bought this guy, yeah, his hat comes off. Probably not supposed to do that. I could just glue it back on, but he's also missing a tooth, and I have another head, so this guy's gonna go in the spare parts pile. Alrighty, so that over there. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna quickly go ahead and put the other guy together. Probably not gonna talk a whole lot during this. I might do a little fast forward action in the video. So yeah, let's just see what happens. You do want to remember, this is pretty easy. Green is the left arm, and only one side of these guys have the chrome on them. It's unchrome on the other side. So that's how you know which side goes front. Flap on the bottom. There you go. Alright, lay that flat like so. New head. Alright. Then actually come back to that. Do the legs first. And there is a, and I've got the other spring in the bag, but you do have a outer spring, which you would think it'd be on the inside. But when you put the screw that goes, so like the screw that goes in this piece is different from the screw that goes in all the rest because it has a little washer attached to the top of it. So, keep the pressure. Yeah, and you want to do when you're putting these in, the spring has a slight taper to it, as you can see. You want to go fat side in. So I'm actually going to do these one at a time. There's the, you can see it, it's got just a little washer on top. I may end up replacing this left leg at some point because it's got a little bit of paint wear on it. It's not terrible, but I have another one that's in super mint condition with hardly any paint wear on it, but it's got the same issue. I've got the broken off weld piece inside of it, and haven't figured out how to get that out yet. bit. So I'll give myself a little bit of, just want to kind of nudge it, get it just tight enough. Okay, do the rest of it. As you can see, it's, you know, it's weird. It's like a, you know, they're kind of close to each other a little bit there. Let's see, we're gonna lay this guy down. All right, now we're gonna go back to the arms. Get the, oh, and then you can see this plastic piece just comes off. So it's just a little clamper on there. There we go. Alrighty. All right, we're gonna get the head set. The other thing I may do at some point too, I was trying to look at these. Oh, losing bolts. There we go. Screws. Losing screws. You know, the part that actually has the pin in them is tight. So like this is nice and stiff. It's the rotating part, which is what you want to keep the wings upright. As you can see, I'm not even holding it up, and it's not wanting to do it. So I think I'm gonna have to figure out a way whether I use some type of washer in there. I mean, there's not, as you can kind of see, there's not a lot of room. I mean, that little, if you're trying to get one of these wings out of the bodies of these things, you don't have, I mean, you can kind of see, get close detail. It's not a very big margin. I mean, like, you got to squish that thing exactly together and kind of squish and push it at the same time. It wasn't real easy to get it out. Yeah, there's got to be a way to, like, I'm gonna have to see if I can figure out it. Maybe I'll do a second tutorial video and I figure out how to get the metal out of the other leg. By that time, I will have figured out how to put something in here that's, you know, not a glue, or just something that maybe can tighten these up, maybe keep them, you know, maybe it's even something that, you know, let's see, so it's gonna be like, basically the wings are like that, so maybe it's, you know, something that just kind of goes in the two slots and just keeps them in place. I mean, it might even be a paper clip. I'm actually thinking about that now. You can maybe take a piece of paper clip. I went and basically found a paper clip, and using a pair of pliers was able to just kind of route it through the little split, you know, and left it long enough so that the paper clip actually is just, you know, long enough that it fits in the corners but also holds itself in there. And as you can see, I've got a pretty good wing holder upper. Didn't have to use glue, didn't have to use tape, just a good old-fashioned paper clip. So a little trick there from your boy Tron to keep those wings standing tall. So let's see, I'll get this. Now this is a pretty tight fit on here, so you do gotta kind of wiggle it just a little bit, like the song says. I'm trying to do this with a camera stand in front of me. Oh, there we go. So just kind of gently maneuver it around till it kind of clips in place. Let's see. Sorry for your view. There you go. Yeah, and these arms kind of being loose in there is not helping everything. Oh, there we go. There's the green side. Oh, there we go. All right. Like I said, it's a really tight fit, so you just kind of gotta wiggle it on. Let's see. Yeah, so basically, I don't know if you can see it, these, you know, trying to be gentle, I don't want to end up doing the same thing I did with the other one. So you can see this silver part here that was on the back slides right inside the other silver part there. So you kind of gotta see this. You gotta kind of easily, like I said, do not grab this thing by the legs when you're doing this. Grab it by the waist, because you're gonna end up with a broke off leg post, just like what I'm trying to fix. So yeah, so see how you just gotta gently tuck it back together. Hopefully when I screw it in, it'll go all the way tight. that's it for today. Tried to make it a quick one. Tended to ramble on the last couple of videos, so figured I'd run through this one real quick. Wanted to get it fixed and up on my shelf. So you guys have a great rest of the week, and keep checking back for the next review. Later.